Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Got another SK Modified Open Series race for you here for week 4. We are at Five Flag Speedway and I'm going out to attempt a qualifying run.
Pit lane speed limit is 35
I was
miles
thinking
per hour.
this wasn't going to
Exits
be
cleared. Now across
too
the
bad
white
of a
line.
race
All right, Jake,
considering
we've got
we are
two
car number
laps to
4
get
and
the
it
job
didn't
done,
seem like
mate.
a very strong a field, strength of field, but after seeing the qualifying times already, I'm not feeling so good about this. I'm thinking my setup that I wasn't feeling too bad in is going to be pretty rough because I have no clue if I'm going to be anywhere near capable of the qualifying times I'm seeing put in. So just going to have to pray that this first lap is quick because the way my qualifying setup is, it is only a first lap setup. The second lap is typically pretty slow, although a 90 is a lot better than I thought it was going to turn. So that didn't turn out quite as bad as I thought. Just going to stop it because clearly that second lap was a lot slower. Yeah, that went a lot better than I thought it would. I was 910 officially, but 90 on the Delta. So yeah, that was did count as a 909. So it was definitely a lot better. I was seeing a lot of nines when before I hadn't even been able to really get anywhere near the 95s. So yeah, that was a bit of a surprise. While I'm waiting, I'm going to swap over to my race trim and just drop the steering ratio down to a 12 to 1. Yeah, so let's see if we can hang on to that. I think the 3 disconnected hasn't gotten back in yet, so it looks like he's got about a minute and 20 or so to get in order to do that. Everybody else has turned time and is ready to go, so it looks like the 9 and the 11 are not going to turn time. They're choosing to start at the back. This is probably not going to be the most fun race, honestly. This reminds me a lot of how North Wilkesboro was. Difference is, I think there might have honestly been a slight bit more of off throttle time at North Wilkesboro than there is here. This is just such a wide and fast track for these cars that with the way the cars are with the wide tires, it just there's not much time you're off with the throttle, honestly. I mean, as the tires were the last half of the race, you might be off the throttle a little bit longer, but it's it's still going to be pretty wide open for the most part. The bumps do affect the car a little bit here. At least for me, I'm taking a much wider entry into the corners and really arcing it both from a momentum standpoint as well as the bumps to avoid them. It's a bigger deal going into turn 3 than it is going into turn 1, but it's kind of the same way. It's a track that I typically feel comfortable with. I've run pretty well here in late models in the past. In a league race, didn't run too bad in ARCA. These cars
That's
just
the end of
drive
the session.
completely
Pole
different
position.
here.
Well done, mate.
Just not even close to the same. So glad I can hang on to the pole. Hopefully can try to come away with another good finish. Last week was able to win the open race at Myrtle Beach. So gonna hope to do the same thing here. Gonna pull up session best lap. Look like we had the 3 connect back in, so he'll be starting towards the back. Not sure how quick he'll be able to be, although I'm guessing starting the back is going to make it a little bit tougher to try to work their way through. Got the 7, I think it was, that disconnected. Somebody was like 5th or 6th, so just going to have to see how it goes. Hopefully can try to get a good start, try to pull away. Not sure what my race pace setup is going to have compared to them. The gearing takes a lap or 2 to get up to full song, and then as long as I can keep the momentum up, it runs really well. So I don't know if everybody else is going to have a different gear in off the that allows them to get started a lot faster than me. If that's going to create an issue, I could almost see it kind of being like the Tour Open modified race at Bristol this week. That I was really slow
The
off
track
the
temp
start,
is
at least the
84
first like
Fahrenheit.
half a
You're in
lap per
pole.
lap, and then after that the car got a lot faster. And I was able to, pull away from people. So it's going to see how it's going to be. It's 40 laps like most of the SK
Stay
races are.
behind the pace car in the inside column.
Hopefully going to be able to pull away, try to avoid any issues off the start, and just try to keep it clean the rest of the way. Would love to try to lead every lap if I can. Try to get a 0x and just see how the race setup does. hoping that I got a decent chance. I know it's not going to be an incredibly strong strength of field at all since I am car number 4, but you know, hopefully I can get something decent out of it. So got 15 cars, I believe, in total. 14. Looks like the car that qualified second, the 14, is actually starting from the pits. So qualifying was pretty tight, so I would expect any of these guys here can have pace, and I would assume the one would be decently fast. He's going to be directly behind us. The 6 is going to be on the outside now, so I'm just going to try to do the best that I can with it and see if I can try to time this start a little bit better. Try to catch him off guard. So it's going to hold even, going to get ready to go here. Pace car should be pulling off relatively soon.
Jake,
Just going to try to catch the 6 sleeping if I can.
Green, green, green.
Up through the gears into second gear. Going to take it easy for the first lap or two just to make sure that while the car is on colder tires and lower pressures that it doesn't step out. It is a hair loose off of the corners. Not uncontrollable. Not like how you have to set up the legends, but you know, while you try to get going, it is definitely a little loose. So just gonna try to do. It was a pretty good start there. Got a decent gap back. Looks like the 1 was able to pull out in front of the 6. So we got about 0.6 of a second right now. So just got to maintain that. Try not to overdrive the car too much. And now that we see smoke, it's going to be about avoiding slower traffic up front, not catching the apron at all in the corners, and just trying to keep the car going in the right direction.
We're quickest right now. Your last lap time was at 16.00.
93 for fast lap I'm pretty happy with. Typically the car will run its fastest lap right around lap 3 or so. So I would not expect me to break that, but as I say that, I actually am able to run a 92. So yeah, this setup's running a little bit different than what I expected it to, but overall it's not doing too bad. Kind of got into the turn 3 a little bit too low. You can see the bump kind of upset the car. It's just where I've got to take a little bit of a later entry, wider arc. That helps both avoid the bumps to keep the car a little bit more settled, as well as kind of keep the momentum up. As you can see, it's really just a quick breath of the throttle into the corners and then back on it. Like I said, as the run goes on, it'll just be a little bit longer waiting to get back into full throttle, but it's still never really going to be, honestly, all that much off throttle time compared to some other tracks as well as other classes. Gaps opened up to 0.9 of a second, so feeling like if I can just maintain this, it'll be a pretty good position to be in. And that's assuming that, you know, the 1 and I run the same pace. We've got another slower car down low. Looks like that's the 11. 14 originally had a problem. Gonna have to avoid the 11. That's gonna cost us a little bit of time to leave 1. I was expecting him to not run on the inside line there, but that's okay. Not a big deal. Gap's still at 0.9, so really good lead right there.
That was at 16.
Would like a bigger gap, but obviously, as long as you cross the line first, doesn't really matter in a sense what the gap is. Seem to be running about even with the 14, maybe catching him slightly. I haven't really paid attention to the gap to him yet, although that was again the car that qualified second, so wouldn't expect for his race pace to be horrific if his qualifying pace was that good. Gap to the 1 back there is opened up a little bit. 6 looked like he was trying to run side by side and then had to back off a little bit. Pretty good, or excuse me, that would be to 2. 6 is falling back to 3rd. So there's a pretty good gap between the 2 and the 6, but the 1 and the 2 are going to be running pretty close to each other for 2nd and 3rd. Got the 11 coming back out of pits, so I'm going to have to stay high. Thankfully, I was coming out of turn 2 before I got to him, so that helps out. Should put him multiple laps down now. Yeah, this is about as good of a start as I could hope for. Just got to try to keep it clean. Keep clicking the laps off. 40 laps here will go fairly quick with how fast these lap times are. Keep an eye on the gap to the 14 ahead. It's at 0.9 last time by, so I'll see if I'm catching him at all. It looks like I'm pulling away from the 1 by a good bit, so unless the car really falls off on the back end or I make some sort of stupid mistake, it's going to be pretty tough for him to catch back up. Looks like we gained about a 10th on the 14 at that point, although he pushes it way up through turn 2 there. So gonna have to take note of that, try to keep an eye on what he's doing when I get to him to get by him. I have to try to do it in the safest way possible so that I don't jeopardize the race. Feel the car starting to wear a little bit. You know, it's more from not so much necessarily the wear percentage, but just the tires heating up. The balance-wise, it still feels pretty good. It just, you know, doesn't feel like it wants to grip quite as good. So you got to wait a little bit longer. You can see the 14 really pushing up there through turn 2. It's allowing me to close up big time on him. Actually, it looks like he's almost getting loose on entry as well. 2.2 back to the 2, who's now gotten by the 1 for a change in position there from 2nd and 3rd. So really good gap back there. Gives me a little bit of time to figure out how to get around the 14. Hopefully I can find a way to just get inside of him into one of the corners and get by him that way. He's not looking like he really wants to give up the bottom yet. Just gonna have to try to do this as safely as I can. He goes high into turn 3. Thank you to him. It's very kind of him. I think he was just waiting until I got a little bit closer, which is fine. Got maintained consistent back to the 2 cars, so didn't really lose too much time there getting by the 14. I'm okay with that. Still at the pace to continue to pull around from him. It's not like I only got there because he was making mistakes and he can run me back down. Did get the halfway called 1 lap ago, so we're going to come across the line to complete lap 22, have 18 to go. This race is, again, shaping up. It's about as good as I could hope for. The 2 looks like he's starting to catch me a little bit now as the gap's down to 2.1, but it's going to take quite a bit for him to be able to get to me, so might be a thing where I just have to set up a little bit too tight off the start, you know, to be a little bit too comfortable, and I need to have it a little bit looser in order to not fall off quite as bad. But I mean, it's pretty balanced and decent right now. Could also have been overdriving it just a little bit and got a little too much heat into the right front. That's you know, while the setup balance itself is fine, I could just be overdriving the car. You can see he's cutting about a 1/10 each lap now. The gap to the 1 staying about consistent at 2.5 seconds. So could be close if the 2's able to get there, but at the same time, 2's going to have to get by the 14, and even if the 14 moves and let him by, that's still going to hold him up at 1 point. Able to keep the gap a little more consistent there, so I got plenty of gap, and laps are clicking off. We're going to have 14 this time by, so you know, the 2's definitely going to have to get more than a 1/10 a lap to be able to get by me. So just got to hope that I can get by these lap cars as quickly and efficiently as possible, and should be able to have a decent shot at hanging on to it and taking the win. Let's see if I can get to the inside of the 9 here through turn 1. It's going to continue to take the inside line, so I had to tap on the brakes to avoid him.
Still there, clear high.
Have to take the low line through the bump into turn 3. That's going to mess the corner up, but able to get by him. Gap closed down big time to the 2, but the 2's going to have both of them to get by. Looks like he got by the 9 with no problem, but he's going to have the 14 to contend with. So if I can maintain the gap, that'll help me a little bit. We're going to have 11 to go this time by. Gap was just closed up a little bit, but still right around 1.3. So just got to get reset, try to get back to my regular line, regular laps. Make sure I don't dive it too low there through turn 4 and run the risk of catching the apron. 2 definitely is closing up the gap quite a bit. This could be a little more than an exciting finish than I wanted it to be, but I should still be in good position to control the race for the win. 2's able to get by the 14, so now he's got nobody in front. I've got nobody in front either, which is probably the best thing I can hope for. It's just all about who's going to make the mistake, who's going to drive better. He's definitely got the car that's a little bit faster, a little more efficient right now, but I think I was able to build a big enough gap up off the start that should be able to hang on to it, hopefully. We're going to have 7 laps to go this time by. Trying to click them off as quickly as possible. Gained a 10th that lap, but still puts them at needing to gain about a 10th and a half a lap or so. And that's just to get to me. That's not to actually get by me as well, so laps could not click off fast enough. I just got to focus on making sure I lift at the right point, don't overdrive it, but also get back to it at the right time to keep the momentum up. That's going to be the only thing that's going to allow me to stay up in front. He's gaining about a tenth a lap, so it's definitely going to get close. I clearly got some setup work to do. Either he was just flat out faster overall and didn't have as good of a qualifying run, or I fell off a little too hard on the setup. So you can see that when we look at the lap times to see you know, how his fast lap compared to mine, and that could give us a good idea. I really feel like I spurted turn 2 there, so that allowed him to close up quite a bit. It's going to be down to 0.6, almost 0.5. Got 4 to go this time by. I get too low there through 1 and 2. That's going to kill the momentum off. That's really going to allow him to close up quite a bit. We're going to have 2 to go this time at the line. This is definitely a little too close for comfort, but still a good race no matter what. Just really don't want to lose the win if I can avoid it. We've got 2 lap cars running side by side up here. I don't think I should get to them before the end of the race, so don't think they should affect anything, just a little more of a visual distraction. Getting the white flag this time by. Oh, I pushed a little too wide there, out of turn 2, got on the throttle a little too early. 2's going to be digging to the inside, don't think he's going to be able to get there, so able to hold on for the win. That was definitely too close of a battle.
Great win, you deserved that today.
Clearly my car was falling off a little bit worse than his, and I was not driving very clean at all, but happy that I built enough of a gap up off the start that I could hang on to it. So take a look at the tires, see how that went. 81, 87, yeah, it was definitely getting way too tight, so I definitely need to loosen it up. Probably drive it a little bit more efficient as well off the start. So let's take a look at the incidents and see what happened as well. See what happened with some of those wrecks. You can see that off the start. So oops, not sure what happened there. So sorry about that. Gonna check the results while that annoying engine rev goes in the back. Sorry about that. So yeah, pretty weak string of field, 1777. Was actually a top split, so it's kind of scary to see what the other one was. Fastest lap was slightly faster, so I think more what it was I was too tight, which is indicative of that right front, and I was just wearing off a little bit faster than he was. So probably need to work on the setup, get a little bit looser up front, a little more efficient overall, and it'll be in a better position. But able to gain 70 iRating, so it gets us just over 2550. Haven't been above that in quite a while, and able to gain 0.25 on the safety rating, get the 0.4 boost, so that gets me up to 2.64. Still a long way to go to get to the 4.0 to fast track up to the A license, but great to have a 0x race and start heading in the right direction. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Sorry we're not going to get to review the incident. Sorry about the annoying engine rev back there, but hopefully you guys had some fun watching that. Again, that was a little too close for comfort for me, but still glad to take all the laps, get the win in, have about as good a race as I possibly could have. So feel free to leave any comments, any suggestions, anything like that. Remember to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more races. Until the next one, hopefully all your laps are fast, your races are clean, and your finishes are good. Thanks for watching.